This week, O'Brien Performance Baseball brings you the seventh episode of the Dugout Talk podcast with special guest Jacob Levine, a freshman at Oswego State University in New York. Jacob is also a Easton, Mass native who loved the game of baseball early. Jacob takes us through his baseball crushes and how he wound up choosing to attend Oswego State for baseball. He also takes us through his experience transitioning from catcher to first base back in his junior year of high school, and also now transferring back to catcher in college. He also touches on how he was able to train during the offseason while the pandemic was still around. We close on the advice Jacob has for the next generation of ball players and how they can get better and make any team that they want. Any questions for Jacob, please reach out to his Instagram page, and I will leave that in the link down in the description below. And as always, thanks for watching and listening. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Dugout Talk podcast presented by O'Brien Performance Baseball. This week we have on Jacob Levine. He's up over at Oswego State currently as a freshman, and this is episode 7. So welcome. Jacob, how you doing, man?
Doing good. How about you?
Good, thank you. So if you want to just jump in and let everybody know that doesn't know you already, just kind of who you are and what you're up to.
Yeah, so I'm a freshman here at Oswego State. I'm from Easton, Massachusetts. I played at Oliver Ames, and I played for Giants Futures and Nakona throughout like 12U to 18U. I'm a freshman, first base, third base, catcher, utility guy, I guess. That's pretty much it.
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, so Jacob's actually helps me coach our 11U Giants Futures team. He also helped last year and a little bit the year before too. So he's been with me the whole journey. So I'm happy to have you jump on. I know you're probably busy with school and all that stuff. So I appreciate
happy to be here.
Yep. So we'll just jump through your baseball progression so far. So you kind of touched on it, but so what age did you start playing the game? Because it's all over the place with a lot of people I talk to. So when did you start? Maybe in Little League or, maybe high school for some people?
Yeah, I started like as soon as you could. So it was like farm or whatever, and T-ball, farm, started all throughout there. I always played, but it started like official baseball with T-ball. It's probably like 4 or 5-ish.
Nice. So that was just something you like. I say this to all the guys, like that's just something we do here in Mass is like, if you're pretty much everybody plays T-ball.
Exactly.
Starts baseball at some point, and then you'll see like people fizzle out if they think it's boring or whatnot.
Yeah, it's just one of those things.
Yeah, so you touched on a little bit. Obviously, you helped coach Giants, but you played Giants too. And you said your first year was 12.
Yeah, I think it was 12-year-old, so right after majors.
Nice. Yeah, so that's good. So I know you always like a bigger guy too. So when did you start seeing you were kind of bigger and more powerful hitting wise than your peers?
It started like I was always bigger, but I didn't really have much pop just because when I was younger, honestly, I wasn't that good. So my swing just didn't really translate into more doubles or home runs until like once I got to like 14, 15, started driving the ball more. And then throughout high school, it was turned into doubles into home runs more.
Right.
And now I'm a bigger guy, still trying to hit doubles, but I think occasionally the ball pops out more than it used to or does for some guys.
Right. Yeah. So do you think, so kind of touching on travel ball a little bit too. So did you think when you did that, when you left Giants and then went to Nakona, did you see is that where you saw a little bit more of that translate? Like when you just got bigger? Because like I've known you for a while now, and you like that 15 to 17 U age is where I thought you grabbed like a lot of more muscle and learned how to drive the baseball a little bit better.
Yeah, a lot of that was the weight room. I started lifting when I was like 14, but seriously lifting probably when I was like 15 or 16.
Yeah,
that helped a lot. And then just I hit with Ryan Tufts all the time. He helped a lot, and it's just getting more consistent barrels to the ball help. And then once you start playing more and just getting more at bats, that's really what helped the most. Because when you're like 13, 14-year-old playing probably like 30 games a year. Then once you get into high school, you're playing at least 50, 60, 70 sometimes.
Right. Yeah, no, that makes sense. So yeah, no, we'll just transition right into kind of your high school years. So you went to OA, which is Oliver Ames in Easton. public school. How did your baseball career go in high school?
It was good. Freshman year, I started on freshman. I'd scrimmage with varsity and do that whole thing. I was still a catcher then. There was a few guys who were still catchers. Then sophomore year, I was with varsity, mostly DHing, pinch hitting. And then going into junior year was when I made the switch from catcher to first base, just because there's still a guy ahead of me, and I was kind of outgrowing the position. So I made the switch to first base, played first base, and that went well. Still hitting, and then senior year, I was trying to play everywhere pretty much.
Right.
I started pitching a little bit just to have another arm, but it was pretty much gonna be first base, third base here and there,
Yeah.
and throwing every few days.
Yeah. So I know you, like so many in the class of 2020, kind of got screwed out of your senior year baseball season.
Yeah.
So I know that you did, for anybody that doesn't know, Jacob also played Rockland Cardinals, which is a Cranberry League team. I also played for them back in the day. But do you think that summer with them playing like with older guys that are already in college and out, a lot of those guys play after college too? Did you see that kind of helped you get ready for your transition to college, you think?
Yeah, that was huge. We would face real good arms like very regularly, and that was really big because the junior year we'd face guys like we went to Georgia and faced like the Tennessee and the Vandy commits, but just consistently seeing like guys that you're gonna play against was huge this summer. And this summer I started playing third a lot more, which is good, just to get more versatility. But yeah, it was definitely a really good thing to start playing with older guys sooner.
Yeah. So do you see yourself going back there this next summer, depending on what your coach wants kind of you to do?
Yeah, he talked about playing the futures a little bit. They fill up really early though, so it'll probably be one of those things where if there's some injuries, I could fill onto a team. But right now it'll probably be either go back to playing the Cranberry. Maybe the Newport League started last year, and that one seemed to be pretty good. Which
Yeah.
I'll see how that goes.
A little bit about that too. Yeah, no, that's cool. So yeah, so we'll just touch on your college thing. So how did the college choice or process kind of go for you? So I know you had a few schools that you were looking at.
Yeah, I talked to a few schools. There was a few offers from like Franklin Pierce, some schools like that. But it ended up those just didn't work out. And I was at Diamond Nation, and my dad went to Oswego, so he knew the coach here, or he didn't know the coach, but he saw the logo, and he started talking to him a little bit. And then after they'd watched the game. After the game, he talked to me. I came up and visit, and I just loved it. And then committed, and it was a great choice.
Yeah. Yeah. So far, how are online classes going? Because I know you guys are fully remote, right?
Pretty much, yeah. I have two labs that are in person, but honestly, I don't hate the online classes.
Yeah.
They're honestly definitely easier because you can use resources a lot more.
For sure. No, I agree. So for anybody listening, it's you either hate online classes or you love online classes.
Yeah.
There's no in between. I can't stress that enough. There is no in between. So if you got one, I'd try one your first year to see if you like them. I only had one throughout my 4 years, so I don't personally like them. But I mean, like you said, it's kind of what you guys were forced into. So if you can make the best of every situation, I think you're all right there. So they have you over there. So last time we talked, you were playing first and third, and then we just chatted quickly off air that they switched you back to also seeing you behind the dish as well.
Yeah.
So let's talk about so Jacob growing up played catcher and then moved to first, like you said, junior year, because he was outgrowing the position a little bit. But like I've seen with Jacob, he's always had a knack for the position. So that year off, let's say that you took off from catching and they have you back there now. Did you see any, is it kind of like riding a bike or is it,
Yeah. Yeah, it was definitely like riding a bike. This off season, I lost some weight, got a little more athletic, which definitely helped, especially with the knees, because at the end, like last fall and stuff, my knees were definitely pretty bad, but now they're definitely better. And so it definitely helps playing at a lower weight
Mhm.
for me. So I ain't getting the lower positions. But yeah, it's I'm doing all the same things I used to do, which is nice. And being able to mix in the other two positions is good.
Right.
Gives me more options.
No, for sure. So what so you said like obviously the transition was fine back to catcher. How was that
Mhm.
initial transition from catcher to first base? Similar?
Oh, it was real bad. No,
Was it? It was bad, huh?
I couldn't feel the ground ball for the life of me. It was like it was real rough for a while. It took until like this summer I got more comfortable in the field, but up until then I made a lot of errors switching
Yeah.
over because my whole life all I did was catch.
Right.
And like when you're a catcher, you don't take many ground balls because you're catching bullpens all practice.
Yeah, no, I agree. No, that's I mean,
Yeah.
that's kind of just trial by fire, which is nice. But obviously, like
Yeah.
you said, you got it this summer, which is good. And they had they had enough confidence in you to let you come there and play first and third. So you obviously
Yeah, it
made
was
big
nice.
strides.
Yeah. This offseason was big for me defensively. It was a focus of mine.
Yeah. So how did so that's perfect. So how did you guys, more specifically you, uh kind of train with all the pandemic going on and stuff like that?
So while we were in quarantine, it was pretty much at my house. I don't know if anyone's seen those YouTube videos, but there's a YouTube videos on how to make like concrete weights.
Mhm.
So I made those and I lifted those while I was home. And it was just like T work with my brother and my dad, but it was really in ground balls and stuff. But once we got back onto the field, it was a lot more. It was a lot easier. We'd go to the local park and hit and stuff
Yeah.
with some of the local guys. And then this off season, we used Giants facility. It was me and a few other local guys. We'd go in, hit field ground balls, throw, lift. We got everything we needed to do pretty much there,
Right.
which was awesome.
Yeah, that's huge. So I know I've heard from you, but you guys have a guy up there on your team that has a barn full of like hitting and stuff, like BP and
Yeah,
all.
he's got a full barn with a cage and a full, not a full weight room, but like a weight room with like a squat rack, dumbbells up to 75 pounds,
Yeah,
and a bunch of other machines that we can use.
that's pretty cool. So do you see that?
Yeah,
You
it's
think
huge.
that definitely helped you guys out with being able to do that rather than just, you never know, like just T work here and there, not being able to access a lot of stuff?
Yeah, that was huge for us because we couldn't use any of our facilities, and there's a local Planet Fitness, and then the next nearest cage is probably 45 minutes away in Syracuse,
Right.
and then you got to go and pay every time. So it's yeah, it definitely helps us a ton.
No, that's perfect. So what do you think, just kind of touching on the training thing. So what do you think your main area that you focused on this off season that's going to help you in the upcoming season?
Um, and my main focus was probably my defense. I took I couldn't even tell you how many ground balls just because that was my biggest weakness, and then offensively there were we had two of the hack attack machines. So we took a ton of reps off there, just trying to stay through the ball and with faster velo.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, no, I know you guys, you've been working with I think it was Kev Lindsay too, that was always in
Hmm.
there, working with Ryan Tufts, who we're trying to get on
Yeah.
as well on this.
Hmm.
He's got good stuff. So no, that's good because I know Ryan's one of the better, in my opinion, hitting coaches in the area. So, and
Yeah, it was
while
huge
he's
working with him.
while he's also running Giants. So, no, it's good that
Yeah.
you guys were able to get in with him. But yeah, no, that's awesome. So I think, so you said your defense, right? What
Hmm.
kind of drills do you do that the younger guys can kind of pick up on for to get a little
Um,
better?
well, I start off every day with either I have a mini glove that I use or my bare hand. I'll start off every day with either doing like the flips and then you're on your two knees picking, or we'll take the machine and set up picks for that. I'll do forehand, backhand, just straight at me. And then I'll get my feet into it. I'll start moving either with the picks or we'll start hitting them. And then it's pretty much just ground balls for us. We'll mix in different hops and different plays. Like I'll start with my back to the wall. They'll say go. I'll turn around just so I can work on my reaction time.
Yep.
That's pretty much it. You just keep it basic for us.
Yeah, no, that's for sure. So I was I was saying in past episodes here that the best thing to do as a young kid to learn how to feel and get your timing down and kind of your own nuances of how you play the game is to just get out there and get hundreds of balls hit at you at a time.
Hmm.
You're going to learn how you need to your anticipation works, how your your reaction time, anything, where your gloves put, where your feet are set, how you're fielding, stuff like that. So I think everybody's a little different. It's not a one shoe fits all type deal when it comes to fielding. So I think the more balls you can hit at you is unbelievable that what it can do for you. So I think that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's all you would literally, like you said, that's what you would do. You took, you don't even know how many baseballs.
Yeah, it was nuts. For me, one of the big things was I could feel the ball in practice all day long, but as soon as the game started, it'd be a mess because I wouldn't anticipate every play that the ball was coming to me. So
Yeah.
that was one of the big things for me this offseason, just every time, like even if we had like two guys, every time I'm getting ready, even if I know it's not coming to me.
Right. No, that's for sure. Anticipation is huge. So another question. So what this is I kind of like to ask people this that are still playing. What are your kind of upcoming goals for this year? I know you're a freshman there, so like what are your expectations for yourself?
For me, I just want to get on the field and help the team win. That's really like for me, it's the only goal I really have is this year. I just want to get on the field as much as possible, and I want to help the team win in any way possible, whether that's catching first, third, sticking the outfield, whatever.
Right. So how's that look? Because I know some colleges are different. How's that look for a freshman getting on the field at Oswego?
Um, our coach is he's straightforward. It'll if you're gonna hit and you're the best option, you're gonna play. He's not picky about your age or anything. So he gives everyone a fair shot.
There you go. No, that's huge. That's all you're looking for. Because
Exactly.
some schools around here aren't like that. They don't play those freshmen just in sense of they don't think their maturity level is good. Because like obviously and probably have seen already that speed even at that D3 level from high school is a little bit quicker.
Oh yeah.
Like your feet got to be quicker. Your bat speed's got to be better. You got to be able to anticipate balls, ground balls. You got to do line drives, and then just hitting is just its own other element that like just because it's D3 doesn't mean that guy can't spot up on a 88-mile-an-hour fastball, dude. So
yeah, we got guys who are pumping. Just today, you see multiple guys go over 90.
Yeah, so that's what I mean. So it's like it doesn't matter what level you're playing at. I think if you can get somewhere where you're able to have a shot at playing right away, I think that's the best bet for everybody. And I think that's kind of where you were at, where you're going to the Southern New York League. What is the league you guys play?
It's the Sunyak, so it's the State Universities of New York.
Yeah,
athletic conference.
So it's all the New York, State University. So you're playing good competition because I think what was it? I think a team when I played back. I think was it SUNY Cortland? It's Cortland's team?
Yeah, Cortland's always good. Yeah.
Yeah, so Cortland was ranked like 3 in the nation when my senior year. So I think you guys are in a pretty good league over there. So
yeah, I think they're at like 8 now.
Yeah,
they're a pretty good team.
So is that kind of is it a stacked league or is it a top heavy with them kind of deal?
It's kind of a mix. It's kind of top heavy. The past like 3 years, it's been us and Cortland in the championship, and we've pulled it off for the three years in a row. But other than that, there's a few other good teams, and then there's some that are a little bit behind.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
Yeah,
it's kind of like what every conference is kind of like nowadays.
Right.
You get those 2 top dogs, and then like the 3, 4, 5 teams are right there, but on the cusp, and then you got the few. At the bottom, but. Yeah, no, so we'll wrap up. I just got one more question. So for the listeners and anybody watching that for the younger generation, do you have any advice for them going forward?
Definitely play every position you can just because it gives you more chances to get on the field. Get in the weight room early just because size always helps. And don't be afraid to listen to everyone. Just get as many years as possible, learn as much as you can as early as you can.
Yeah, no, I agree. So like he's saying there, be a sponge and don't stick to only what one coach tells you. I can't stress that enough. Get out, experience more coaches because it's only going to make you a coachable player. It's okay that if you're coached by the same person your whole life, but I think it's more valuable to also go to showcases where you're getting coached by other guys, maybe switch a team, play another team, like play town or whatever. And then get an AAU team or something, because the more coaches, like I said, you can get and see and react to is going to make you more coachable, and then you can go anywhere you want and learn as much as possible. So no, I think so. That's awesome. So for everybody, where can they find you at?
My Instagram is Jacob Levine 15. I think Twitter is probably the same. That's pretty much what I got.
Yeah, no, I'll link all that stuff in the description below for them. No, man, I appreciate you hopping on. Good luck with
Appreciate
the
it.
rest of your grades, and I'll be following you along. When's your first game?
March 20th.
March 20th. I'll mark it in my calendar. We
Oh
got any
yeah.
live stats things? They do any live stats over at
I think
Oswego?
so. Yeah, I think some of our games get broadcast like on they get streamed or whatever, so you can watch along on those.
Awesome, I will, man. All right, man, I
Yeah,
appreciate
thanks
it.
for having me on.